Picture this: a man who's stared down injustice for decades, battling through cancer recovery just to stand up for what's right. It's the kind of story that pulls at your heartstrings and reminds us why voices like his are crucial in today's America. But here's where it gets controversial. These voices aren't just echoing, they're rallying against a figure many see as a modern-day king, sparking debates that divide the nation. Let's dive into the heart of the No Kings protests, where major U.S. labor unions are fueling a movement that declares, "You need a voice to have freedom." James Phipps, a resilient 75-year-old from Marks, Mississippi, is determined not to let a recent colon cancer surgery keep him from joining Saturday's No Kings demonstration in Chicago, Illinois. His passion burns bright. He shared, "I have an intense urge to participate in this protest because that's been my life's work." Born into a time of deep racial divides, Phipps got involved in the civil rights movement at just 13, helping to integrate his local high school and working with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, a group dedicated to peaceful change through organizing and activism. By 15, he joined the Mississippi Freedom Labor Union, MFLU, which fought to unite sharecroppers, farmers who rented land and shared crops, for fairer pay and better conditions. Back then, the MFLU was focused on cotton pickers enduring grueling labor. They earned 30 cents per hour, toiling under the scorching sun for 10 hours a day, netting just $3. That's about 2.5 cents per pound of cotton, Phipps recalled. It wrecked their necks, backs, pelvises, and knees. And the hardships didn't stop there. They lacked access to medical care, he added, a point that hits close to home for him now. Today, Phipps handles administrative support in Cook County as a proud member of SEIU Local 73, one of the largest unions representing public service workers. He's grateful for the health insurance that covered his cancer treatment. But it highlights a broader crisis, the ongoing federal government shutdown. Democrats are pushing Republicans to tackle Donald Trump's proposed Medicaid cuts and renew health insurance subsidies set to expire by year's end. Without these extensions, premiums could skyrocket, potentially leaving around 3.1 million Americans without coverage, a scary thought for families already struggling. Phipps doesn't mince words about the culprits. It's those self-serving individuals obsessed with lining their pockets, he said. He's also deeply troubled by the aggressive raids conducted by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, in Chicago. The Trump administration justifies these actions with claims about crime that critics say are inaccurate or misleading. Why drag people from their homes when they've lived here for 20 or 30 years? Phipps questioned. He shared a personal story. My Mexican neighbors next door were my closest friends for 41 years. We shared our lives, celebrated together, and supported each other through joys and sorrows. If someone faced hardship or passed away, we were there instantly. The parallels are striking, he believes. Just as immigrants face harsh treatment under Trump, Phipps draws connections to the discriminatory laws of his Mississippi youth. Mexican Americans and people of color are enduring the same struggles we faced since 1619, especially in the South, with Jim Crow segregation, he explained. Back then, challenging unfair treatment could lead to being found in a river or lynched. I feel a deep kinship with what's happening today. For beginners wondering about Jim Crow, think of it as a system of laws that enforced racial segregation and disenfranchisement in the South until the 1960s, limiting rights for African Americans in everyday life. But here's where it gets controversial. The No Kings slogan echoes America's founding spirit. We didn't want kings then, and we don't want kings now. Some of the nation's biggest labor unions are spearheading these protests, with over 2,600 events planned nationwide, led by groups like the Service Employees International Union, SEIU, which represents millions of workers in healthcare, education, and public services, and the American Federation of Teachers, AFT, advocating for educators and support staff. Randy Weingarten, AFT's president, put it powerfully. Unions know that having a say in the workplace empowers everyday people. And in democracy, that voice builds strength for working families in society. These are the key tools regular folks have for influence. We in labor believe you must have a voice to enjoy true freedom. Liberty isn't possible without it. Yet, prominent Republicans and Trump officials have labeled these gatherings as Hate America rallies, a stark contrast to Trump's portrayal of the January 6th Capitol rioters as patriots. Congressman Tom Emmer even accused Democrats of appeasing a pro-terrorist faction by insisting on Medicaid fixes and subsidy renewals. Weingarten countered that the protests are a pushback against Trump's overreach, addressing frustrations like skyrocketing grocery and healthcare costs. I cherish America and reject anyone questioning my patriotism for demanding the American dream becomes reality for everyone, she said. That's labor's stance, ensuring the promise holds for our members, their loved ones, and those we assist. Our founders were rebels who declared no kings for us. Now, 249 years later, we're reaffirming that message. We've evolved in many ways, but our rejection of kings remains steadfast. Jaime Contreras, Executive Vice President of SEIU 32BJ, which unites 185,000 janitors, security guards, airport staff, and other service workers on the East Coast, echoed this sentiment. The genuine danger to our nation isn't peaceful demonstrators. It's leaders who halt government operations to shield billionaires and corporate interests. It's ironic, calling calm protesters terrorists while labeling Capitol destroyers patriots. On October 18, SEIU folks will march in the No Kings protests across the U.S. because America belongs to the people, hardworking folks, not wealthy elites or politicians acting like monarchs in our democracy. And this is the part most people miss, or choose to ignore. Could these protests be seen as unpatriotic, or are they the ultimate act of loving your country by fighting for its ideals? Do parallels between Trump's policies and historical injustices, like Jim Crow, hold water, or are they overstated? Is a voice truly essential for freedom, or can we achieve it through other means? What do you think? Are unions heroes or agitators in this debate? Share your opinions in the comments. I'd love to hear your take.